Hi there. It's Sunday the 2nd of February and it's a beautiful sunny morning, and I'm just across the water here from the main bridge into Portsmouth, and just behind me is the Mountbatten Leisure Centre, and I'm here for the Portsmouth Brick Festival. This is only the second Portsmouth show, and last year when I arrived there was only about 15 people in front of me, but this year there looked like several hundred, and by the time we went in there looked like there was several hundred behind me too. Inside there were the same usual sellers, and I only bought a few small things, so I thought on this video I'd concentrate on the new displays which were there, which I hadn't seen before. Vaughn Medway was displaying some great new movie scenes. There was a great build from the lesser known Troll Hunter movie from 2010, and Vaughn told me there's a sequel coming out in a few years time, but his brick-built troll looked absolutely amazing. He had a mock based on the famous painting The Haywain by John Constable. He'd captured the scene really well in Lego and had some great details, including the wheels recessed into the tiles, showing that it was in the water. My favourite one was his Planet of the Apes scene, which had lots of gorilla suit guys and Chima minifigs, all rounding up the humans and putting them into cages to be sold. His Fabuland 2049 display was a really funny take on the classic Fabuland figures, showing them in the future with various flying vehicles and some really nicely built futuristic buildings. And then lastly he had a winery with lots of grapes being picked and pressed, and a great selection of all three versions of the famous Lego goat. The next display, which I hadn't seen before, was some huge 3D printed versions of various Lego cars. Two smaller Creator Formula 1 cars, and a larger city car complete with minifig racing driver. And it even had a jack and some spare wheels. I'd got an early bird ticket for 10 o'clock, and by 11 o'clock, when the next batch of ticket holders came in, the place was absolutely packed. Another display I hadn't seen before was Spectacular by Georgina Kibble, who'd used 3 of the goldfish brickhead sets and made a goldfish tank in an actual fish tank, complete with colourful Lego gravel and a brick-built tank ornament. Someone had made a set of Lego puzzles where you had to try and fit all the pieces into the frame, but cleverly you could also use the same pieces to make a Lego cube. I couldn't do it myself, but here's one that someone else did. The Roman settlement by MJG Bricks I'd actually seen before, but not looked at in great detail. He too had a lot of Lego goats, and pigs too, but my favourite part was his very clever part usage to make his fences, using the 22 stud long flexible hoses, which he'd woven in and out of brown antenna, which he'd used as fence posts. Jason Joyner had made a Dalek invasion. He had a custom-built TARDIS, as the official Lego TARDIS is dark blue, but he'd got nearly 60 of the Daleks from the LEGO Dimensions Cyberman Fun Pack, and they were all ominously closing in on the TARDIS. And I really liked his base, which he'd made up of many light grey shield tiles. Jason was also displaying a large castle, which was different from the normal light and dark grey castles, being made from light and dark Nougat bricks. And he had a nice mix of classic castle minifig parts as well as some newer ones. Richard Dane was displaying some movie art with a Jurassic Park poster using the huge park gates, a classic Mark I Golf GTI. If you know what movie that represents, please do let me know in the comments below. And also an Alien poster with a xenomorph bursting out from the background. Len Dragon, or Doc Brown, was at the last show with his many Back to the Future displays.
All the others, if they are kits, they're modified.
But since then he'd added the famous train from the third movie, which he'd based on the Lone Ranger train set. And he also added the flying police car from the second movie, which was a modified version of the Lego City electric car. By now the third wave of ticket holders had come in at 12 o'clock and the place was absolutely heaving with people. On my way out, Fred from Hillian's Bricks pointed out a really cool brick-built minion that his son had built and was displaying for the first time. Then there was just enough time to drop in on my good friend and fellow YouTuber Ian's Bricks, whose stall had done amazingly well and he'd managed to sell most of what he'd taken with him. So for me, it wasn't the best show for buying bargains, but it was a great show for new displays. So just finishing up with the few small things that I bought at the show, and to remind you to leave your comments below. And also, if you've liked this video, please do remember to give it a thumbs up, and of course, please subscribe for more LEGO videos.